Pick Studio, this is Shaggy.
Hey, it's Agent Sebastian from the Narcs here.
Sebastian from the Narcs. What is going on, my brother? How you doing today?
Doing great. Just between patrols here, so I figured to give you a call.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Narcs obviously protecting the world one cart at a time. Now, for the listeners who may not be familiar with your videos, in your own words, describe what you do.
Well, I go to parking lots, and when someone doesn't put their cart back to the cart return where they know it belongs, by the way.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. I politely encourage them and point where the cart return is, and then if they are defiant and still don't return their cart, I will encourage them further with a mark of shame via a magnet on their car that says things like, I don't return my shopping cart like a jerk, or lazy bones on board.
That is so awesome, man. And let me start out with saying I really enjoy your videos. I watch them on Instagram every single day.
Oh, much appreciated. Yeah, you can find us Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, whatever your platform of choice is. The Narcs are there for you.
Fantastic. Now, they say the ultimate test of human decency is the cart test. So I, like you, have a passion for placing my cart in its proper place. In fact, I've gone so far to teach my kids the same principles. Like if I say to my kids, if we're in a parking lot at Costco or whatever, which seems to be the worst offenders in Costco, by the way. But I asked my kids, what do we call people who don't put their carts back? And they respond, jerks.
Well, that's a little harsh, but I even say lazy bones, but I have jerks is acceptable. And of course, in my videos, you hear much worse. So do preview my videos before you show them to your kids, because some of the people, not me, but some of the people I talk to have a very foul mouth. But yeah, ultimately what it comes down to is you're just lazy and inconsiderate in 99.9% of the cases.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Now, how'd you get into this line of work?
Well, unfortunately, my parents were killed by a stray shopping cart when I was a child, but no,
sorry.
Of course, joking on. Yeah, no, it's a very mundane origin story. I was just talking with a friend about it because we, like yourself and a lot of people out there, had the observation, why are people not putting their carts back? So one day before I even had the whole Narcs name, I just kind of walked around and asked people, and I got the same kind of responses, the yelling, the screaming, the threats of violence. And so I said, whoa, there's something else here. So there's something deeper than just a shopping cart. And from there, I just kind of slowly developed the whole idea of being an organization, and the magnets and all that stuff kind of developed piece by piece.
I've noticed that, especially in your videos, that when you ask people politely, by the way, like you described, to put their shopping carts back, they go from 0 to 100 so quick. Why do you think they get so angry?
Well, I think it's the old, speaking of kids, it's the old hand caught in the cookie jar problem.
Sure.
They know they're doing something wrong, and I've actually looked into the psychology of this. When you are caught in a lie or in a misdeed, for a lot of people, the first thought is anger. It messes with your brain because you know you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. And then to have to justify your action, it causes what they call cognitive dissonance, where you're trying to convince yourself that the reality is what the reality is not. So it goes way deeper than cards. But it comes down to it is when people are caught doing wrong, a lot of people get angry, and then some of those get violent.
Oh, most definitely. I used to work in retail, and whenever I would catch someone shoplifting, then same exact thing. They'd automatically get all defensive, start yelling at you, telling you were this and you were that. And it's like, wow, I'm not the one stealing here. Like, that's you.
It's so funny. I was talking to a lady yesterday who had left her cart kind of just blocking the middle of a sidewalk, and she actually was very nice to me. She said, oh, one of the employees told me this is where I should leave it if I'm done with it. And first off, that's ridiculous, but yeah. She was very matter-of-fact about it and quite frankly, sweet, which gave me an indication that she was not lying. Wrong, but not lying.
Okay, that makes sense totally. But yeah, like I said, people will get so angry so quick. But what's cool, if I've noticed, a lot of your videos are in different cities. So, are you just traveling throughout the country? Is this your full-time gig?
It's not. Luckily, it's just a productive hobby. I don't do it 40 hours a week.
Okay.
But, yeah, I try to find reasons to go places. Like, oh, my friend's having a wedding or a baby. There's a music festival. Okay, well, that's at night. Maybe during the day while I'm in wherever, anywhere from Hawaii to England to, Dallas, Texas. During the day, I'll run around and do some cart narking, for a few hours. And so it gives the impression that I'm everywhere all at once. it's just a hobby.
You put yourself in some pretty dangerous situations. If I recall correctly, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I saw a video in Portland, which is where I was born and raised, is Portland, and people can be pretty hardcore over there. But if I'm not mistaken, I mean, you're posting like videos in parking lots in Compton.
Yeah, that's the thing that people will say. They'll say, oh, he's in, fill in the blank, nice suburb. He'll never come to fill in the blank, dangerous part of the city. And I say, oh, well, number one, I probably already have been there. But number two, okay, challenge accepted. And I'll show up. And first off, these cities, let's say Compton, Detroit, whatever, Miami, they're not Mad Max war zones.
Yeah.
Most of the world is just nice people doing nice things. But unfortunately, what Cart Narcs discovers is that there's a small percentage of people who are just rotten and nasty, and it doesn't matter where those people are in nice cities or in poor, bad neighborhoods. Unfortunately, I do discover them.
Now, what is the most dire situation you've ever been in? I mean, if you watch any sort of your videos, which you can follow online at Cart Narcs, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, cartnarcs.com as well, so check that out. But what is the most dire situation you found yourself in? I mean, lots of people threatening to harm you, but has it ever happened?
Well, I've never been actually beaten up, so that's a good thing.
Okay, that's a plus.
However, I have had guns pulled on me twice, which are probably technically the most dire thing. Both of those things, one was in Houston, one was in the Dallas area. No bullets were fired.
Yeah.
because I always move away from violence. And as I tell people, they're like, hey, why are you running away? Why don't you fight me? And I tell them, I'm not here to fight you over a shopping cart. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the whole point of what I'm doing, is that people can have reasonable conversations and be polite and pleasant to each other without, resorting to fisticuffs or gun violence. So that's what I tell people, is the best way not to get in a fight is not to actually get in a fight. Fists and feet only reach so far. So if you stay away from those, you're in pretty good shape.
Exactly. Well, and if the cops are called at any point, then you have video evidence that, hey, I'm not trying to start anything here.
Yeah, that happened recently. I was in Huntington Beach, California, where this lady and her husband, they get all, they're yelling at me and so on and so forth. And they immediately get on the phone with the cops. Well, guess who happened to be in that parking lot was the police. I walk up to them and they go to me, oh, hey, Cart Narcs, how's it going? And so I'm talking to the police, and the people obviously saw that, because as soon as I turn around, they're gone. So it doesn't happen because I don't like to waste police time either. But in the handful of times that I've talked to the cops, they either say, hey, whatever, just kind of, they say basically, get lost, everybody. Come on, let's settle this down. Don't be ridiculous. Never been arrested or anything like that, though.
Okay, good. You got the law on your side.
Yes, sir. Because they know what's going on. They know I'm not there to do any real damage.
Oh, for sure. Now, before I let you go, one last question. You're definitely at the top of the pyramid when it comes to the cart narking videos. Obviously, there's a few other YouTubers who kind of do the cart thing as well. And one of them, Eric Kanevsky, if I'm saying his name properly. He also makes videos asking people to return their carts, although he uses more of an intimidating approach, whereas you're more polite about it. Do you ever see yourself collaborating with someone like that for a video?
Yeah, I think I know the guy you're talking about. He's like a big, bald, like Russian guy.
Yeah, that's him. Yep, he dresses up as like a Russian gangster, and he's like, please return your cart.
Yeah, I'm definitely up for something like that again. I try to use, like I said, I'm not a huge intimidating person. I'm a very average-sized guy, which I think is why a lot of people think it's okay to try to attack me, because they're not afraid of me. But that's kind of the point of my videos, is I want to hopefully persuade through logic and reasoning and common sense that you should be taking your cart back. However, I'm certainly up to a one-off with, if The Rock or this Eric guy wants to join me. But
let's put that out into the universe. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. If you want to collaborate on Cart Narcs, then you can go for it. The invitation is out there.
Yeah, I'll go along for a one-off for sure.
No doubt. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for joining me today. And if you're ever in the Idaho Falls area, then the local Costco in Idaho Falls, Idaho, could use some cart narking. That's for sure.
Thank you for the tip, and I'll keep that in mind when I'm nearby.
Well, perfect. Now, before I let you go, I do a segment on my show every single day called Shaggy's Picks, and we're a classic rock station. Obviously, we play rock and roll music, and today I'm turning it on over to you, Sebastian. It is the Cart Narcs pick. Do you have a song or an artist that you would like to hear on the radio right now?
Well, I know it's a common one, but I was just walking around and I heard Jimi Hendrix for the first time in a long time. I thought, man, here's a guy who was obviously obviously gone too soon, but he produced so much in the little time that he had. And again, it just caught me by surprise because it was out in public. And I heard it. I was like, wow, man, that's something I want to hear more of. So anything you got by Jimmy is fine by me.
Anything Jimi Hendrix. Hey, consider it done. That's what we do here on The Pick. Cart Narcs, thank you so much. Remind everyone where they can follow you, where they can watch your videos.
Yeah, at Cart Narcs, CartNarcs. On, like I said, any platform you are on, you'll find us there.
Fantastic. And check out cartnarcs.com. You can get some merch. You can get some Lazy Bones magnets, the whole 9 yards. But check out his video. Seriously, it is a good time. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you angry. It'll make you want to return your cart.
Yes, please.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Have a great day cart narking. Appreciate what you do.
Thank you, sir.